Hi, I'm Mattlin from FBTWGaming, and this weekend we had a really good ARC preview with all the new stuff that's going to be introduced to Gigantic. Some of it was great, some of it not so much. I thought I'd give you kind of an in-depth look on how I felt during this playthrough. Now, you have to understand, I played a lot of Gigantic this weekend, probably more than I have since, like, the first open beta. I played about 20 plus hours where I was busy most of Saturday, so that tells you I've seen a lot of it. And, you know what? Let's give the pats on the head, the good job, the good old boy pat to Motiga on a couple of things. The pros of this build. The new art design is amazing. Have you seen Ghost Reef, the little lanterns? And the fact that if you go from Leyren's side to Gren's side, there's a color difference in the landscape? How about when you go to Sanctum and you have, like, you transition to Clash and it starts raining? Holy cow, and I believe there's been some updates to some of the abilities. Beautiful. Just beautiful. All the new artwork, A+. You guys win in that department. And you know what? Let's continue on with the freaking hero voice lines. I'm gonna play a couple in the background here for a second.
Hey there, little big guy.
This is our little freak. Get your own.
They sound amazing. You know what? I'm gonna say my favorite, Trip. And only because, you know what? She sounds just like Raven from Teen Titans, the old Teen Titans, and that was my bae back in the day. So, Trip, awesome. Next, Paco. Paco is so adorable and he must be protected. Just amazing. Probably followed by Becca, that transatlantic voice that sounds like she's from a 1920s movie. Just play the tutorial. The tutorial. Holy cow, the tutorial. Great job, teaches you a ton more, and there's a mode in it where after a certain point you get to use unlimited focus for a limited amount of time. Like, this is the only time you get to do it. Motiga, don't make this the only time we get to use unlimited focus. Next April Fool's Day, have an Earth mode where you get to use unlimited ultimate just every match. Yeah, it's going to make some characters overpowered, but it's a joke match. By that time you should have different game modes, I hope, in 8 months time. Anyways, that's kind of like the major tactical stuff. Let's also look at, like, the back end. I had, again, played 20 plus hours and had maybe 6 disconnects in the whole thing. You know, people that I'm not like, well, we're losing and someone left, so, you know, probably a leaver. Great changes where I get 4 or 5 DCs in an hour on the normal Xbox system. Let's talk about one of the biggest mechanical changes to date. The stamina changes. I'll read everything through just so you understand where I'm coming from. The stamina changes are as follows. Skills no longer have a stamina cost associated with their use. Jumping no longer drains stamina when not in combat. Listen to that. Sprinting no longer drains stamina when not in combat. Note, sprinting, jumping, and using other skills will still halt stamina regeneration even when not in combat. Cool, check. All heroes have 100 stamina. Increase the base rate that stamina regens from 15 to 20 per tick. Increases the delay before stamina begins regenerating after running completely out from 1.5 to 2 seconds. Increase the base cost of sprinting while in combat from 8 to 12 stamina a second. Increase the base cost of jump attacks to 10 stamina. This is addition to the 10 stamina cost of jumping while in combat. Increase all stamina of dodging to 25 stamina per dodge. You know, a quarter of your stamina bar. Adjust stamina costs for sprinting both in and out of combat to be consistent across all heroes. So, let's kind of break this down. Out of combat, infinite stamina, which is a godsend. Do you know how many times I've been out of combat in the current build and just running around and then have no stamina and, like, face check into a wall while I try to jump because I have no stamina? It's like, okay, let me sit here. I'm trying to do parkour here. There's no reason to stop me if I'm not fighting. However, you're going to burn through stamina while running away easier. You're going to have to kind of be more diligent in using, you know, your stamina regain tricks while running away. So, but that doesn't matter as much because you'll always have stamina to run away unless you're being really silly because abilities no longer use stamina. And why is that huge? Well, it makes some characters huge winners and changes in this build. Winners? All the assassins. And let me explain like this. All the assassins pretty much can get into combat on their own terms, which means they're going into a combat where people are low and try to pick off 1 or 2 targets. They engage at their own leisure, so they're going to come in from out of combat into people already in combat, and likely will have more stamina than them, which means they can chase better and kill better, and they just can, go nuts. And you think about it, you jump into combat as an assassin, unload your full combo set. The person's trying to run at this point. You haven't used any stamina if you've just used your abilities, because they don't use stamina anymore, and you have full chase potential, including your jump attacks to slow them down, even if each jump attack takes 1/5 of your stamina. Assassins have gotten a lot more annoying to get away from. Tanks! Holy crap, tanks. First off the bat, tanks are almost universally slower than everybody else in the game. Out of combat, you can run everywhere. Just run. You can make these, rotations a lot easier. You don't have to worry about running out of stamina or gaining stamina back before jumping into combat. You just run to wherever there's a problem, jump in, and suddenly start fighting. In combat, you can very easily move between points, because who was our tanks? Paco, you burn stamina like hell with Paco. Zandora was a hell of a lot of fun to play this weekend because of the stamina changes. Her auras used to eat like a quarter of a stamina each use. And now, nope. I can just run around and spam all of my auras, then run the hell out because I have stamina. And the Margrave, you're like repositioning, moving really quickly, and can intercept for your team even after a lengthy combat. Tanks are doing a lot better. The surprise winner of all this was Imani. Now, you think all range would probably be equal, but no. Imani is this immobile backline, like, artillery piece. More than HK, more than, Charnock, who have abilities that are closer hitting abilities, like the Mortar and his Ring of Fire, and Charnock's Ring of Fire. Imani sits in the back and snipes. She doesn't usually run, she usually doesn't jump. Once she's found a perch, she's there for a little bit until she gets out of combat and starts to reposition. The changes mean that she always has full stamina. And if you're an assassin trying to take care of an Imani, you're going to be running at her. She probably's going to see you, peg you. You're now in combat. You're going to burn stamina to get to her. By the time you get to her, she still has a mobility from her gas. And she's got a full stamina bar to run the hell away from. Remember when I was saying that, assassins choose their engagement and can really chase well? I think Imani is the only character that it's super hard to chase down as an assassin. At least from my limited amount of playing as assassin and dealing with Imani in the matches. Now the mixed bag. These are things that I like, but are implemented poorly. First off the bat, bot matches. Bot matches are great. You can, figure out what your abilities do, kind of, hone your skills on people that aren't real so you don't let down your team. Everybody has them. You got HOTS, you got Smite, you got LOL, you got... Everything has bot matches nowadays. Love it. Except these bots are dumb as bricks. I mean, throw them into a pond and they're gonna sink in an inch of water. Like, this is how dumb they are. I was playing my only bot match of the weekend, and if they saw anybody below like half health, every bot on the map pretty much like laser locked onto them and tried to get them. It didn't matter if they were too far away. It doesn't matter if they used escape mechanisms. It didn't matter if I was behind them as an assassin beating the absolutely loving tar out of them. They wouldn't turn. They wouldn't use escape skills against me and just would kind of meander towards the low guy. They're bad. They need heavy overhaul. Mixed bag. Voice chat. Voice chat. Communication with our friends. I mean, it's not text to chat, so I, can't type something out. But it's a start. But it's open mic only. No push to talk. Gee, you know what? I streamed, so I didn't use this practically all weekend. Why? Because I'm talking to, my chat, talking to the video, and I don't want my team to just hear me blabbering on for hours at a time. It would be annoying and not helpful to them, etc., etc. And you know what? Even if I wasn't doing that, maybe I have some music playing in the background I don't want anyone listening to at the same time. And it shouldn't be coming through my mic. There needs to be a push-to-talk function. I'm lucky I have a microphone with a very easy on and off. And when I did use it once this whole weekend, I used my mute button on my microphone. Was it a good compromise? Hell no. Push-to-talk is needed. Another mixed bag. The smaller map sizes. Siren Strand, I kind of like the changes of where things were. It made the map a lot smaller. But, I don't know. Most of the smaller map sizes, the less, points, it got me a little irked. It was less to do on a map, and that's what I like more than things like HOTS or Dota or something like that, that there was always something to do. If I wanted to upgrade, 3 points, hallelujah, I could do it after coming off the airship from Indepth, so I had something to do immediately. It made it a better game than things like Battleborn or, Overwatch, where you'd have, 10-minute walking times to get into a battle, and I'm both exaggerating, of course, but these changes very quickly changed my opinions on that. It was a lot like Overwatch, where once you respawned, you're running into combat, and there wasn't anything to do in the backlines. Nothing to do in the backlines. You just was running to combat. It was artificially extending your respawn time to get back into a combat more than helping creatures out, or helping the map out. Now the biggest change outside of Stamina to Gigantic for this weekend. The creature changes. Creature changes. Even talking about it does not make me happy. If you've watched any of the Gigantic coverage, streams, YouTubes afterwards, everybody says the creature changes are atrocious. And you know what? I'm not going to go against the grain here, because I agree with them. They're terrible. Terrible. Here are the changes. All creatures now summon instantly after channeling for 6 seconds. This time does not change after transition to Clash. Okay? Reduce the health of all adult creatures by 30%. Reduce the health of all young creatures by 15%. Why to change the two of them? You know what? Let's not fight that. Yet, we gotta talk right through this. Remove the special burst skill that previously triggered when you spawned a creature. This is bad! Instant summons are bad. Why are instant summons bad? Because it removes half the strategy in Gigantic. Easy peasy 1, 2, 3Z. I mean, before you had to, of course, babysit a creature. Most average creatures being summoned took 1 minute and 20 seconds if left completely alone to be summoned for a baby. Down to 6 seconds. This is a minute 14 seconds difference. What? What percentage is that? I mean, 10 times 1,000% would be a minute. So over 1,000% less time to summon up on a point. I believe. Yeah, I think it is. I think it fudging is. It's probably more. I'm too upset to talk about numbers and try to figure that out. Sorry, I'm getting very passionate about this subject. It's terrible. And the point is, you could used to be able to babysit a creature. Having someone on a point, you could decrease the time it took to spawn significantly. 5-man stack could get a creature up, even an upgraded creature, which, took 2 to 3 minutes, depending upon which creature it was. You could 5-man stack and get up in 30 seconds. It meant a lot of dedication and a lot more, team coordination, but you put voice chat in, so now it should be better overall because you can communicate with your team, be like, no, everyone stand on this point. It also makes the ping help me summon literally useless. Get rid of it. It's bullshit. You don't need it anymore because it takes 6 seconds and you can't be interrupted except by CC while doing this. They remove the ability to be stopped by taking damage from collecting orbs or summoning creatures for both you and the creatures, which is again bullshit. But woo! And I'm gonna tell you, the other problem comes that not only are creature summonings ridiculous and stupid and take all strategy out, but the creature's health is so low. I mean, young creatures have 15% less HP. In one of my matches, as Trip had my 4-man stack of my team on my own A? Yeah, because they changed Sirens, which was terrible. But on A, fighting against the enemy team, which was okay, I went up to the altar, killed the enemy creature. About 10 seconds while on Trip. 10-15 seconds because of stamina changes and everything else. And I didn't do it like a good Trip, dodging and moving and getting all sorts of stacks and everything. Nope, I just face checked it. I looked over my team. My team was still fighting on my point. We'd lost one person. I walked down to the next creature, killed it 15 seconds by face rolling it. I killed 2 creatures 20 or 30 seconds no problem. Why is this change in health here? It's terrible. Could they have rotated to me? Maybe. But if I can kill a creature in 15 seconds, it takes about 10 seconds to get from that point to where I was, even if they, even if they recognized immediately that I was attacking it. So, if I took one, they have barely any chance, and a team of 2 to 3 people can just annihilate a creature so fast there is zero ability to respond. And the reduction of adult creatures by 30%, I don't want to say adult creatures are useless, because they're still good, and every time I played with an old hat from the gigantic community, pretty much all the points had upgraded creatures. Why the hell not? Yeah, the adult creatures cost 10 more, or give 10 more power if they get killed, but it was so fast to put them up. I mean, again, here was the kind of like the bullshit start, is during one of my matches on Falls, we killed River. Boom, it's dead. We're now chasing some kills coming off of River, trying to get enough power because we're behind. We get a couple of kills, and in the middle of this team fight, like right near the beginning on stairs, I look over and realize one of their players is missing. They had gone over and started to summon back on deep. So in the middle of this team fight, about 2-3 seconds in, I realize there's a new creature on D. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine, whatever. We'll just circle around after this fight, maybe kill it so we can get power, etc., etc. We finish this team fight, we kill another player, so now they're down to 3 players, and we've, I think, lost 1 guy. So we're ahead in all the trades. We got a creature, we got 2 guys, and lost only 1 person. Huzzah. Let's rotate back to D. Shit, it's a Yeti. It's a Yeti Cyclops. What? You have to think about it. How long does it take to go from no creature on a point to an adult creature? And the answer is 12 seconds. It used to be something ridiculous like 3 to 4 minutes. Stacking obviously could lower it. You could probably get it down to a minute. 12 fudging seconds to get an adult creature up. And here's the more important point. Unless you have eyes on the person doing it, you only have 6 seconds to react to someone trying to upgrade a point. Think about that. 6 seconds. How do I know this? Because the first thing that you see when someone's trying to summon a baby creature is when the point pops up on the map, if you don't have eyes on that point. So if you're fighting somewhere else or doing something else, you see a baby creature go up and you go, okay team, let's go rotate onto that point and maybe take care of it. So you start rotating. In that time frame that you rotate pretty much from anywhere, 6 seconds, think how short 6 seconds are, they can have an adult on that point. That takes away all strategy. I mean, just if you got the focus, you could take a point and fully upgrade it with like this, like that, like this. I mean, obelisks were really interesting because you could throw a baby up and, withhold power from a team for a while. I don't see that as a necessity anymore in this build because you can go from having summon up a 6-second bloomer, then summon up a friggin' storm drake. I want to see, and this is, I think, possible, a good team bait a team into their point, and in a trip be invisible, walk up to the summoning point while everybody else is engaged, and in 6 seconds, pull up a Storm Drake, and just wreck an enemy team, because there's no counterplay to that. How do you counterplay that? You can't. And speaking about no counterplays, again, Falls. We were on Falls, and we were about to get the push, which I thought was going to be great. We finally were ahead. It's like 90-80. Easy peasy, we've got this push. Because, 2 things come up, we get the push. Right before the collection of the orbs starts, somebody finishes on the back line upgrading a point. The point that's collecting. Boom, they get push. Because it was 90-80 and the adult creature summons faster. And you might be like, again, there's no counterplay to that. Someone in the back lines, which I cannot see, takes 6 seconds to get power before we could even dream of it. How do you stop that? I mean, you might be like, well, if you had better vision, we were already low on health and had been retreating because we had to deal with it. We were ahead, we had, paid for blood. And you think about anything else. If you're trying to take a creature off of a point and you're fighting around it, you can very easily be like, trading blow for blow on enemies, and, you back up so you can get a couple of heals. By the time you start moving back forward, they could take that baby creature that you've, paid by inches to get down to like a third of the health and have an adult creature on the point. And how would you stop that? Maybe if you were able to jump in, if you had the health. It's bad. It's tactically, it's terrible. It makes me as a player feel bad. Like, when I summon an adult creature, I don't care. Whatever. Pretty much all the old hats at Gigantic summoned all adult creatures doing this thing. Whatever. So how would you fix creatures? And I'm going to point this out here because I'm going to give credit to Boom Zeus. I hate doing it. I have the taste of ash in my mouth. But he was like, maybe you return creatures back to their original health, but instead you increase the focus cost for all creatures. Maybe by 1, maybe by 2. To which I said to him, that's crazy, Boom, because you can only have 3, so what do you do with something like a Storm Drake, which is only 3? Do you weaken it? Then it makes the, Storm Drake fields weak. And he goes, well, no. What you do is you can have, like, somebody prime a creature upgrade, like someone with a Storm Drake. You start, like, upgrading a Storm Drake. And it goes, help me summon. Oh, look, that ping is useful again. And someone else with 2 focus walks up and, like, throws another 2 focus into the mix. And boom, you start upgrading into the adult creature. And I'm going to take it one step further. Maybe you make the summoning the channel 30 seconds, 20 seconds, something high. But people can help you summon, like, walk up to it and use the 4 button, I guess. And be like, reduce the summoning time by half for each extra person helping upgrade it. Hey, that sounds like a good compromise, right? So, let me kind of give my overall end thought about this. Most of the changes I like. Obviously, creatures, I absolutely detest. However, the full implication of each individual one might be good, but when you put it in a whole, it created a lot of deathballing this weekend. That is to say, everybody ran as a pack, murdered, kept going, and because creatures barely had health, they could wreck a creature on the way through, then turn on the team and kill the team. And it just, if you had a huge team fight moving around, it became very brawly. It was Overwatch. It was, capture a point in Overwatch. Stand somewhere, fight it out, duke it out, then move on to another point. Maybe if you could win that team fight. The lower respawns made me feel like I was face-checking things. A lot. I don't know. I've always said Gigantic is like playing chess while in a fighter plane doing loop-de-loops. This felt like being fired out of a cannon into a brick wall. There was less strategy, less kind of minute, like, gotcha moments where you felt like you outplayed somebody else. It was the worst the first day, but as my MMR rose and began playing with older players, I began to enjoy it more because they played in the older style, and it worked better with a team composed mostly of that older style. But I still don't like how heavy-handed brawler the current build is. Well, what do you guys think? Do you enjoy the new Arc build? What do you think of the creature, the stamina, everything else? Let me know in the comment section and we can get a discussion going. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It helps me out a ton. And if you want to see more in-depth, gigantic discussion, subscribe. Mattlin FBTWGaming, signing out.